Hello, hello. Wonder if anybody's around. Ah, man, it's been a tough couple of days. Just wanted to see if anybody was out there to chat. Last night and into today, I just feel like the energy's been very heavy for me. Woke up pretty down today. And just really feeling the weight and the gravity of making the decision to move and uproot my life and just being very uncomfortable. I feel like the end of the year is funny like that. Birthdays too. It's like it really brings everything to the forefront. Man. It's just really hard when you feel like you're doing everything by yourself. It's not that I'm not capable of doing these things. It's just like it would be nice to be able to share the highs and lows with somebody. Sometimes I wish I were safer. Just easy. It would probably be easier because I wouldn't feel like I need to change and challenge myself so much. I wish I could just be happy not changing anything. Hey, 2 times non applicable. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. I was just saying how, oh, you watch my videos? That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for your support. I'm feeling it today, though. It's been a pretty tough one. Any fun or exciting things happen for you this week? Sorry to put you on the spot, but it's just me and you right now. Thank you. I try to. I try and keep my videos really positive and motivational because honestly, these are the talks that I give myself. Like today has been really hard and it's just been a very average day. And I think that's the problem. When you have a super average day, suddenly it's like you look around and you're like, "Oh my god, I changed so much and now I feel like I'm standing still." And I don't know, it just really got to me. I was crying all morning. Usually not that much of a crybaby, but I think sometimes when you're moving so fast, you don't really think about it. You're just going a mile a minute, and once you kind of stop moving for a second, it all hits you at once and it's like, "Oh my god. What did I do?" And putting my address into my GPS to get here, it was like, "Oh my god, like, I live in a different place. Like, my life is completely different." And it was just like, wow. For a second, I got a little lightheaded and I was like, oh my God, what did you do? Why are you doing this to yourself again? But I mean, overall, I know it's a good decision. But that's what happens with change and growth is it doesn't feel like it's a good decision every day. Like for the most part, like I honestly think that that's what keeps me positive in general is just knowing, okay, I did something hard. Ugh. Average is good sometimes, and a good cry can be good too. Well, I definitely had a good cry. Probably gonna keep crying more today. But I don't know. It's just also tough with the holidays, I think. Being in a new place, not really having a tribe yet. I'm sorry. I started journaling actually after I moved here, but I haven't really been consistent. Maybe I should do it more. Thanks for the hugs. I really appreciate it. Maybe that's the problem. I think that part of standing still is all of a sudden you have a chance to think about everything. It's like, whoa. I didn't really ask myself how I felt about what was happening when it was happening. I was just kind of like, move, move, do, get a place, move your stuff, ship your things. Just like, didn't have a chance to really sit and ask myself how I was feeling about everything. I think overall, I'm happy. So I felt good. And then even just with a new job and getting acclimated to a new place, like I still GPS. Actually, today I didn't use my GPS to get to the gym, but getting back, I did use it. But you're just throwing all these things. It's like, wow, all this is in my face right now. But I just have to remember that I'm strong enough to handle it. And it gets easier. I'm making a little bit of money, a little something. But that's crazy. I didn't know that you could that happens on live videos. So thank you for sticking through the ad. I really appreciate it. Um, what do you guys do when stuff gets hard? I think the hardest part is just feeling lonely, and it makes me feel like I'm not sure. And then I guess I'm most disappointed because I'm like, I didn't know it was still gonna feel like this. I thought the last time I made a really crazy decision for my life, that was hard enough and it was going to make me strong enough to handle all this stuff. But I guess I'm just not used to feeling anything. Oh, gosh. Nobody tells you how hard life's going to be. You're just like, I can't wait to be on my own and do what I need to do. I'm going to be super rich and nobody can tell me nothing. I'm just like, where's my money at? Like, where's all my money that I was supposed to have by now? Ugh. It's like, yeah, you get married and you get a job and you make money and you live happily ever after. But nobody explains to you what the ever after is. You like the happily part is when things are happening. But it's the ever after that gets you. Adulting really does need a warning label. It's kind of ghetto in here. Like, I did not think it was going to be this ghetto. Every time I feel like I'm catching up or I'm getting ahead, I'm just reminded, oh no, no, you're actually you're actually not. But I don't know. I guess I can't wait to be one of those people who just figures it out at once. Like, I feel like I've figured it out for the most part, but some people, they're so lucky. Like, they turn 18 and then they just figure it all out. They make every right decision. For me, I feel like I just made a lot of the wrong decisions. But now that I think back, I don't think I necessarily made the wrong decisions. I just think that I made the right decisions for other people. Like, I made decisions based on the relationships that I was in or the friend groups that I had or what other people were doing. So even though those decisions were like the right decisions, they were the right decisions for other people. But I just try to convince myself that they were also the right decisions for me. It's just weird. I hope it gets easier soon. I know it will, but it's tough in the moment. I really appreciate all the encouragement, though. I started going live the last couple weeks because this conversation that I'm having, I would just be having it with myself. And it's really nice to, I guess, vent or share it with somebody I've never met before for some reason. So I guess it's kind of like a little bit of therapy. But I really do appreciate you and the words of encouragement. I feel like I'm usually the person giving the words. So it's nice to get a little different perspective. It's really hard to see the upside of things when you're in it. Oh man. It's brave, and I think it's how you'll find your people. I hope so. I feel like I've been looking for a long time. But I guess at the same time, I really haven't been. It's like I've just been waiting for them to find me, but not actually putting myself out there. It's just hard. It's so hard, especially when you're an adult. It's so hard to make friends. It's so hard to know who is going to be around for the long run. And I also just feel like I don't make relationships the same like I used to. Like, I've always kind of been like too nice of a person and always that person that makes friends with people. And I feel like I'm just a really awesome friend. And I don't say it like to be vain, but when I say I'm a really awesome friend, I just feel like I'm that person that people will call and I will listen to you for hours and I will give you every possible insight that you need. But then I've just learned, especially in adulthood, that not everybody is your friend the way that you're their friend. And I think that's why I've distanced myself from people so much, or why I don't really make as much effort to become friends with people. It's just in the past. So there was this girl who was, one of my close friends. And besides grimy stuff that other people I've been friends with, and that's the one thing that I think I've learned is I remember with something happened between this girl and my ex, and I don't really know. But when I was telling my roommate at the time, and I was just like, and this happened with my friend. And she goes, well, first of all, that girl is not your friend. So, But I don't know why it just didn't occur to me, like, why do I still consider this person a friend? I'm literally talking about how this girl did me dirty, and I'm like, and he did this with my friend, and it's like, the fact that I still considered this girl a friend, that I spoke that sentence, it says so much about me and the lower standard that I have for my friendships. So between that, and then also, like, yeah, not everyone reciprocates what you do. And it was a really hard lesson for me because with this other girl, it just seems like whenever I'm that friend, I guess I'm reflecting characteristics in myself, and I think that I'm getting it back because, you listen to somebody for hours, or you talk to them, or you help them get through their problems. And I remember I asked this girl to take me to the airport. And I hadn't noticed up until that point, but it was like every time she'd call me, I would talk to her for hours and literally let her like trauma dump on me for hours. And, I'm just being a good friend. I didn't think anything of it. I'm just like, I'm a friend. That's what I'm supposed to do. And it was like anytime that I would call her, she would either not answer the phone, or if she would call me back, she would talk about herself, and then when I would start to talk about myself, she would have to go or like have another call or whatever it was, and then it'd be like at the height of whatever I'm saying, where I'm like at my most emotionally vulnerable point, then she would have to get off the phone and then not call me back or whatever it was. But every time she would call me, like I'd make a point to answer, or like call her back, because I'm like, because she needs me. Like that's what a good friend is. When people need you, you're there for them. And one day, it was like a few days, like I was trying to reach her to do stuff, and she's not around, she's not really answering the phone. And one of our mutual friends, and they're actually really tight, she says to her, and she's just like, I really don't know why Ashley's calling me like that all the time. Like, we're not friends like that. She said that to this girl. And I'm like, it was really, it was a hard pill for me to swallow, because that's when I realized, like, not everybody is gonna be your friend like you're their friend. And even though I was actually there for this girl, it made me realize, like, I was just the only person who was there to listen to her. She didn't care to hear what I had to say, because she didn't care about me as a person. But it was convenient for her to talk to me because I would give her good advice and help her get through it. But at the end of the day, it wasn't a priority for her to be friends with me like that. Instead, I was more of this annoyance that was calling her all the time. And it was really hard. And that oop that you just said, yeah, like it was hard because it just made me sad. And it just reminded me that I did that with a lot of relationships then. And so I just decided, I'm like, I can't do that. I can't give my energy to people who don't deserve it the same. Um, and I feel like a lot of us need to stop that. Like going into this year, we're not doing that. Okay. If people don't reciprocate your energy, just be done with it. It's sad because honestly, losing a friend can be just as bad as losing like a significant other. But it's just, we have to be better about accepting more than the bare minimum. There is no reason that all these other people can get everything they want, but you just have to settle for the bare minimum. And it's just because you're a kind person and you want to receive love the same way that you give it, because you're like, in my mind, this is the way that I love people. This is how I show my friends I love them, my loved ones that I love them. But sometimes people they just don't want that. There's a lot of people in this world who are takers, okay? They will take and take and take and never think twice about giving, and they won't feel bad about not giving anything back. So you have to be very selective with your time and the energy that you share with people, but also the things that you share with people. Because another thing that I've realized is not everybody wants you to win. And sadly, it's not always the people that you think it is. It's not always that random coworker that you have like some odd feud with. Sometimes it's the person who you think is your friend, who you're unloading all your problems on, who you're telling all of your deepest, darkest secrets to. They're telling their best friend about your business, and they're slowly praying for your demise. And even if it's not a conscious thing that they're doing, the fact that they have anything negative to say, or the fact that they don't hold that weight of the confidence you've put them to keep it to themselves, and that they're sharing it, it's because they don't really respect you as a person, but also it's because they might be secretly jealous of you. And like I said, it's not always that random coworker or the person who you expect it to be. Sometimes it can be your significant other. That's what it was for me with my ex-fiance. He was very jealous, not just of other people's interactions with me and just of like the way, I guess, like there's the simple form of jealousy. But for him, it was like if I was having fun and he was at work, he would be just like aggressive and angry for no reason. And I realized it's because he was jealous. Because one day he said it to me. He's like, well, it's because you're out having fun with your friends and I have to work. Like, whenever you're out with your friends, I'm fine with it. I just tell you to have a good time. But not everybody is going to look at it the same. Not everybody wants you to win. Some people are just silently and secretly jealous of you. They like to hear about everything going on. They love to hear about your problems because it makes them feel better about what they're going through. And that's why my circle has gotten so small over the last few years. There's 3 people that I still confide in who I know have my back, who I know without a doubt they're not saying those negative things to me. And the way that I respect them, I would never say anything bad about them. But some people, it's like they compare themselves, and it's not always a conscious thing. Like, here's an example. So let's say, and I feel like women do this a lot, and it's very like men don't see it, but I think as women, we understand the little nuances of being emotional creatures. So we know when somebody's being a little shady to us, or somebody's vibe is off, or whatever it is. And you tell a guy and they're just like, no, I think they're fine. Like, what do you mean? Everything's fine. Well, with women, we pick up on these little subtle things. And let's say you're friends with a girl and you guys are pretty close. But then whenever you look really nice, or you get a haircut, or you've been working out a little bit, they either downplay your accomplishments, or the most basic thing, let's say you look good, they don't say anything to you. Like, they avoid you. And I've had this with people who they've been friends at work, and then we've become friends and hang out outside of work. There was specifically this one girl, like, it seemed like anytime I looked good, or like I put myself together or had a haircut or something like that, everybody else and their mom would come up and give me a compliment. But this girl would almost go out of her way not to like say hello to me. Little microaggressions like that. That's how you know that somebody's not really in your corner, not your friend. Because somebody who really cares about you, they're like, oh my God, I love your haircut. Yes, queen slay. All the things that you would want to say to them, they would reciprocate. But when somebody's weirdly shady like that, like, the energy is off. That's probably one of those people that you shouldn't be sharing your business with, because they're probably slowly and silently praying for your demise in some way. The other thing is when somebody makes it a point to tell you anytime somebody that may have been interested in you, or that like maybe you talk to, or maybe like whatever it is, anytime that they make it a point to brag about it or work it into a conversation, it's like somebody, and sometimes it's not even somebody that you had anything to do with. Like, you're just like, okay, like, I don't care, like, that's fine. Yeah, you gotta weed them out for real. And it's really hard, especially when you don't have very many friends. It's like you don't want to let go of another companion or another friend. But they're not there for the long run. And one thing that I think about when I think about how I called off my wedding, I don't know if I really shared much about it, and I might talk about it in a video, but I think back to the people that I thought were my ride or dies, that I thought were really my friends and who I would want to be in my wedding at the time. And now I think about if I got married today, how literally it would be the tiniest wedding. Like it would be so freaking small. Nobody would be there. It would just be me and like two people probably. But I just wish I could see those things back then because I feel like I definitely gave a lot of energy to people that I shouldn't. And you can't get it back. And even once you let them go, it still leaves an impact on you. Like it still makes you wary of the next time you let somebody in or the next time you you share any of your energy or your emotion. It's like now I feel like I definitely have to think twice when I start talking to people. And the best way that you know is when you start telling somebody, here's one of my ride or dies calling me right now. Making a video. But yeah, think about who you would want in your wedding photo. I feel like that's one of the clearest cut, simplest ways to know if somebody's really for you. Like, if you have a feeling that 10 years after your wedding, that person is not going to be in your life anymore, like, you should probably evaluate that friendship. Ugh. Relationships are hard, especially as an adult. Like, how do you guys make friends? Like, real friends. And what's craziest is that it even be the adults that act childish like that. I feel like the people that I love to surround myself with now are very like minded, where they're ambitious, they constantly want to keep growing. They're not shady about people, and they don't do things like dislike other people for no reason, just for the sake of it. Like, I just want to be with adults who are adulting and doing their best to keep improving. But it's like, when do people grow out of that? It just takes time to find those gems. It really does. But I know for darn sure I'm not going to find them sitting around. But this is like one of those hard decisions I need to make. Like, am I okay not finding more people? Or do I want to really put myself out there? I don't know. You could be finding them now. I hope so. But I think one of the positive things about aren't you putting yourself out there? I guess in a way I am. I've been definitely branching out, especially on the internet and these live videos. But I think the best part about meeting people, whether it's your significant other or friends in adulthood, is because you're more selective about who you spend your time with and who you give your energy to. So when the vibe's not there, you definitely cut it a lot quicker. It's like hire fast and fire faster. I don't know. All I know is I definitely do feel a little better after talking to you. And not applicable, not applicable. Thank you so much for for the chatting. And thank you anybody else that's out there that's listening. I really hope that if you're having a hard day like I was, you have the time, the energy, and the space. Malika, hey girl. It's nice to meet you. But yeah, wherever you're at, if you're having a tough day, I really hope that you have at least one person that you can confide in. I feel like I went live because I tried to call like four people and nobody answered the phone. And I was like, okay, I don't want to have a meltdown right now. So I guess I'll just turn on the camera and talk to myself for a little bit. Maybe somebody will be out there. And look at that. Malika was out here and Whoever else might have been out here too. But I really am thankful for you guys and for this time and this space. And I do appreciate you sharing your energy with me and taking on some of mine. But I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Yeah. Slim Bates. Not everyone is the same. I feel like I'm not even the same. Like the last 6 months, I just cannot be bothered. But thank you guys. I sincerely do mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for giving me this slice of the most valuable asset you have, which is your time. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you either in my next video or in the next live video. Bye, guys.